guys, as you can see behind me, the bed is off the truck, which is awesome. So what the plan is for this part is we need to hit the back of the cab there, because the back of the cab needs to be sanded down, primered, all that, and then I need to also work on the frame. And I got some rubberized spray. Once we clean up the frame, we're going to spray it down just to give it that extra bit of protection, because it's a little crusty. It's 53 years old, it's crusty. But yeah, and then while we're at it, I got to do some wiring and fix the exhaust a little bit. This is going to be a fun time, guys. We got lots of things to try and get done. I got to finish sanding the very front of the truck as well, and then we will start getting it done. My goal is to have finished all this in the next 3 days, so we can put the bed, which is tucked up right over here, because we got to do that part of the bed while we're at it too, but to get the bed back on the truck before Sunday. That is the goal. So it is Wednesday. I want to try and get all this done Friday, so everything has had time to sit, be ready, and then hopefully Saturday put the bed back onto the truck. That is the goal. So let's get started, guys.
Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Oh yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh yeah, I think that we've all had enough.
Alright guys, taking a little lunch break right now. We got coat 1 onto the frame of the truck. It's a black rubberized paint. So we got coat 1, I'm going to put 2 coats on it. Hope that's all I need to put on it. If I have to put a third, then I will. But I'm letting that dry right now, and then I'll have enough left over so I can get underneath the cab and hit that part of the frame. It's just a little hard to do it when the truck's on the driveway because it slopes down like that. But otherwise, it's been so far so good. I spent 3 hours masking off the truck so that I could at least get this part done. So once I get the frame part done, I can start primering the back of the cab, and that's what we're going to kind of focus on, and primer certain other areas of the cab. We're just kind of working on the cab of the truck today, and then tomorrow we got to sand that down. The back of the bed here, that's what I'm kind of pointing at, because the back of the bed's right here. I still got to sand that down, and we got to primer it, paint it, and things of that nature. And we may do a couple other things to the bed while it's suspended in the air, so I don't have to crawl under it as much. But we got to do that, and then just keep working on the cab. Once I'm done, I'm not going to remove I'm not going to remove the coverings over the windows or on the whole actual cab of the truck, just because I still have to sand off the very top of the truck, and we got to repaint that white. So I'm just going to leave all that on there, but first I want to get the whole truck primered because it's all sanded off, so I want to get it out of that state. But I want to get the frame done first, because the back of the cab and the back of the bed, or the front of the bed if you will, are the most important aspects, just because bed's off frame, I can hit all those things, and then I can, you know, rejoin them back together, and then the rest of the truck would be simple. But I want to make sure those parts are done first, because then, like I said, you know, as you guys can see, I've got this kind of like redneck rigged in here, so that it's suspended high enough I could roll the truck in and out from under it, because yeah, you got to get that thing at least 4 or 5 feet high from where it normally sits, just so I could roll the wheels out. But it's been good so far. I'm very pleased with how the frame looks at the moment. It looks really good. It's a lot cleaner. There's still a few areas where, no matter what I tried, like I took the grinding wheel to it too, and it, you know, cleaned it up as best it could. It's 53 years old. What can I say? The frame's in good shape though, so. But putting this coat on it, just this coat alone right now, makes it look so much better. It doesn't look like a rusty pile. But yeah, so I'm going to continue eating lunch, guys, and then we will hit round 2 with the rubberized paint, and then we are going to tackle primering the back of the truck. It's going to be a good day, lots of paint. You know, we're getting to that point that I've been wanting to get to. I still got to do a couple things on both the driver's side and the passenger side doors before we primer them. I got to Bondo one of the little holes that's over there, and I got to cut all those little notches off still, so maybe I'll do that while the second coat's drying on here. We'll see, but that's the goal, guys. Well, guys, we got coat 2 done on the frame, and now that is doing its drying process. And why that is drying, I cut out those notches, I'll show you guys here shortly, off of the cab that those like plastic clips were held onto, and I cut them off the bed. And I kind of fixed up a couple of the other little holes, just kind of made them smoother. But right now what we're going to do is we're going to primer the back of the cab there. Bring it down. The back of the cab here needs to get primered. Since it's in the shade, it's nice and cool. We're going to primer that out here while this is all drying, and then we're just going to let everything just kind of dry, because the frame is done, it just needs to dry. But I need to put 2 coats of primer on the back of that cab, so we're going to do that. Let it dry, come back, do it again, let it dry, and then we can wheel everything in here and we can do the rest from inside the garage. I prefer the paint in the garage, but at the moment, if I bring this back in here, there's no space because of the beds back here. So we'll do that, and then yeah, we're just gonna kind of wait, and maybe I'll run to a store and get something else that I need to get to. But otherwise, we're just gonna do the back of that for right now, guys. Hey everybody, so as I said earlier, it is now later. We've gotten a lot of other things done, and now it's time to work on the truck, and it is actually right behind the camera because the light is terrible in here. It's not on my face very well because the truck is hogging it all. But we are going to start working on the truck. What we are going to do today, because it is raining, I don't know if y'all can hear it, it is raining on the other side of the garage door. We have to do clear coating on there. And honestly, I might fiddle with the wiring in the back of the truck for the reverse and tail lights, because the previous owner, what a cobbled freaking mess. It was bad. Like, I have it all sitting over here because it took 45 minutes yesterday of staring at it and having to rebuild it all to figure out what went to what. Because the previous person had like 6 different colored wires all connected to like 3. It was bad. Like, I don't know how the damn thing actually worked, but it was. So we're actually going to fix it, do it right, make it better. But right now what we're going to do is clear coat time, because it is time to put the clear coat onto the back of the cab. Then we can sit there and work on some of the other stuff. Wiring, I got bolts that need to be cleaned up, stuff like that. And if the rain stops, I can open up the garage and push the truck out a little bit and work on the bed, but we will see. Little by little, we soldier forth, because I gotta get this done. I want to get this completed by the end of June. The whole paint job and kind of the restoration aspect of the body for the most part. Get that done, and we have lots of bolts to clean and things like that, so today may be clear coat and tedious task day because I've been putting those off. So let's get started. Well, good morning, guys. As you guys can see, I have been doing a lot of work over this past week on the Jeep, and yes, the beard has gone away. It is going to be gone for a while. I got some things in August that the beard can't be around for my sister's wedding, so I was told no beard. Bastards. Alright, but I've been doing a lot of work. As you can tell, the bed has got its primer on it. This is just the first coat. Today we are going to sand off, or not necessarily off, but we're going to sand down the first coat and put on the second coat, and we are going to finish right up in here. This is the front of the bed. See if I can turn you. This is the front of the bed here. We have got to get that painted so that the paint can cure and dry and all that good stuff. Then we can put clear coat on it, because my hope is that tomorrow I can drop the bed, or I don't know, today's Friday. I'm hoping that either Saturday, or so tomorrow, or Sunday, I can drop the bed back onto the frame. Because once that's on, then we can, and then that second coat of primer is dry, we can then sand it all down so it's all ready to go. And today, because it is raining, I don't know if y'all can tell, but it is raining outside. You'll probably start hearing thunder in a little bit. I haven't been in the greatest luck with Denver lately and the rain. But once we get this put back on, we are going to paint it. Because today I'm going to go to a couple of the automotive paint shops to see which one has the, you know, the canary yellow I'm looking for, because that's the color that the truck's going to be. So that is the plan for today. I'm not quite sure how much of this we will truly get done. Alright, the other thing I did do is I did get underneath the bed here. It does have a nice coat of rubberized paint on it, so it is now taken care of. It is, you know, more protected. It used to have a rubberized coating underneath it that it looks like somebody had put on. I don't know when they put it on, or, you know, kind of how they did it, but they didn't do a good job at it, because it was flaking off. There was so much surface rust hidden under it. It looks like someone had just painted, you know, taken the bed off and painted it on there and over what was there, and said, oh well, here we go, it'll help. And I only found one rust spot on the bed of the truck, and it's right underneath this wheel well here, going up one of those little, you know, one of the little pillar holes up here, right above where it sits on that wheel arch. It is just rusted through. It looks like water has collected in there over time, and it is just rusted. It's not terrible, but it's something that the body shop can get up in there, cut it out, and do it, because eventually this will go to a body shop, because we got those 4 major rust spots that need to be fixed on this thing. And I do plan to get them fixed, because I don't want them to stay like that. So over time. First things first, we got to get this done. So yeah, let's get started, guys. As you guys can kind of tell, I've started the prepping for paint. I've got the paint sheets up. This sheet will actually span all the way over to where that sheet is. Once the bed is back on the truck, these straps will disappear, so this will actually be able to go up. I've got the other side marked down, and that sheet covers the Jeep seats that are up there, and I have another one that covers up all those boxes. But once we get to that point that we are ready to actually paint this thing, then we will finish fixing all this. My garage is a bit of a mess, and it's a functional mess, but it's still a mess. Kind of messes with me a little bit. I like organization. Alright guys, welcome back to the garage, and it is time, officially time, to paint the D100. Now the last time you saw this, some things had not been done yet. I have gone ahead and primered the bed here. We have everything else primered. Everything has 2 coats of primer on it. It's all been sanded, cleaned off, it's all prepped for paint. The back of the cab has been painted, done up. This top part's gonna get repainted with the new paint so it all matches. And we got the bed put back onto the truck, which actually was a lot easier than I thought it was gonna be, which helped immensely. But this is the big day. I am excited. We are going to start painting this. We're gonna get coat 1 done, possibly coat 2 today. We'll see how long it takes it to dry. And then we're just gonna let it sit, cure, and then we do have to put the clear coat and everything on it. But it's going to be a lot of fun. I've been waiting for this day for a very long time since we started the project, and we are finally here. And as you guys can probably tell, I have turned the garage into my paint booth. It has been completely masked off. Everything is, covered for the most part that needs to be covered. And so I am ready, and the garage door is only cracked right now so I can talk to you guys. Let's in more light, but that'll get kind of shut so I don't have to worry about debris and stuff getting onto the paint as I'm going. And then we're just gonna let it sit and do its thing. But I'm super excited. Now this will be the first time I've used my new paint gun. It's kind of sitting right over here on my workbench. So we're gonna assemble that, test it, mix the paint, everything like that, and then we're gonna get started. Now I am gonna tell you, except for when I'm mixing the paint, as I am spraying the truck, I will not be using this camera. I'm actually gonna be using the GoPro in one of its covered cases so that the camera itself doesn't get any paint on it. So the image may look maybe a little fuzzy at times, or it may look like there's this little black ring going around it. That's just one of the cases that the GoPro can sit in that protects the camera. And I'm doing that because I just don't want to ruin the lens with paint on it or have to sit there and try and fight to get the paint off, just because we are going to be using a spray gun to paint all this, so it's going to be up in the air and everything. So I don't want to ruin this camera, and I don't really want to ruin my GoPro too much, but I want to bring you guys along.